2 Super Bowl championships, a storied career, a legendary coach. But instead of leaving on top, Tom Coughlin's time with the New York Giants ended on a sour note due to being hung out to dry by the Giants front office, and more specifically, John Mara. Tom Coughlin wasn't just any coach. He was the heart and soul of the New York Giants during their greatest triumphs. So why did an organization let him go only to spend big on free agents after he was gone? What if the Giants had invested in Coughlin's final years the way they did with Ben McAdoo? Today, we'll take a deep dive into how the New York Giants failed one of the best coaches in their franchise history. When Tom Coughlin was hired by the Giants in 2004, the franchise was desperate for stability. Coughlin delivered not just stability, but greatness. By the time his tenure ended, he delivered 2 Super Bowl titles, defeating the Patriots dynasty in 2 unforgettable battles. But Coughlin's time in New York wasn't without its challenges. His rigid coaching style and the team's inconsistent performance in between Super Bowl runs often left him on the hot seat. The 2015 season was a frustrating one for the New York Giants. By week 15, the team had a 6-8 record, and the manner of their losses was particularly agonizing. 6 of their 8 defeats came by less than a touchdown, many in the final minute of play, with the deciding point scored against them in the last 2 minutes. As the season wore on, so did the criticism of coach Tom Coughlin. It intensified, reaching a peak after a heartbreaking 38-35 loss to the Carolina Panthers in Week 15. In that game, Coughlin came under fire for leaving star wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. in the lineup, despite his increasingly erratic behavior on the field. Beckham's clashes with Panthers cornerback Josh Norman escalated into multiple scuffles, earning Beckham numerous personal foul penalties. This incident was so impactful that it led to the NFL to introduce a new rule the following season. Any player accumulating 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties in the same game would now be ejected. Yet despite the tough times, Coughlin remained the same. A tireless worker, a passionate leader, and a coach who squeezed every ounce of potential from his team. What he needed was support, especially from the front office, but instead of investing in Coughlin's vision, the Giants front office left him out to dry. One of the most glaring mistakes the Giants made was their reluctance to invest in free agents during Coughlin's final years. As the roster began to age, it was clear that the team needed a fresh talent to stay competitive, especially as Eli was getting towards the twilight of his career. Yet the front office remained largely inactive in free agency, leaving Coughlin with a roster full of holes. On January 4th, 2016, Tom Coughlin announced his resignation as head coach of the New York Giants. In a carefully worded statement, Coughlin said, "I met with John Mara and Steve Tisch this afternoon, and I informed them that it is in the best interest of the organization that I step down as head coach. I strongly believe the time is right for me and my family, and as I said, the Giants organization." The resignation marked the end of a season where the Giants finished 6-10, their 3rd straight losing season and a 4th consecutive year without a playoff appearance. However, as time went on, Coughlin later revealed that the decision to step down wasn't entirely his. He had been forced to resign by the organization. Following his departure, offensive coordinator Ben McAdoo was promoted to head coach, marking a new chapter for the team. Had the Giants made the same aggressive moves during Coughlin's final seasons that they would eventually make after his departure, there's no telling how far the team could have gone. Instead, Coughlin was forced to resign and shown the door. In 2016, Ben McAdoo took over as head coach. The Giants suddenly opened their checkbooks, signing high-priced free agents to shore up a defense that had been a major weakness. The results were immediate, a return to the playoffs. But it didn't last. Despite its initial success, the McAdoo era fell apart almost as quickly as it began. The Giants finished with a dismal 3-13 effort in 2017, and McAdoo was fired. The aggressive spending had brought a quick fix, but no lasting results. All that money, and yet no long-term solution. What if the Giants had made the same investment in Coughlin's final years that they did with McAdoo? Could they have given him a final run at glory? For Coughlin and for Eli? Could the Giants have avoided the years of instability that followed after his departure? At the end of the day, Tom Coughlin deserved better. The Giants' decision to spend big after his departure was a short-sighted move that came way too late. He was one of the greatest coaches in the history of the franchise, and instead of backing him, the Giants forced him to resign without the tools that he needed to be successful. Tom Coughlin's legacy in New York is cemented by his 2 Super Bowl titles. But when we look at the Giants' struggle since his departure, it's clear the franchise missed an opportunity to give him a proper send-off. If they had vested in him the way that they did for his successor Ben McAdoo, maybe, just maybe, the Giants could have potentially built another dynasty. Tom Coughlin deserved better, and the Giants, they may never live down the fact that they didn't give him what he needed when it mattered most. Thank you guys for watching.